What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Freddie. I'm here with local legend Nicky Ryan, and today we're here to talk about PGF. Ran by our friend Brandon McCatherine. It's like a full week event. Finals, it's free on YouTube, and the finals are on UFC Fight Pass. It's taking place right now in Las Vegas, Nevada. What do you think about PGF, brother?
Yeah, it's a super interesting event. You know, like you said, it's a 205 pound tournament. It's pretty interesting, like how they kind of have seasons. I also like how they have like the individual tournament with it as well. So it's like because you can have athletes that shine on teams that still end up losing. So it's cool to see them get another opportunity to go out and compete. So pretty much the way that it works for people that don't know, the athletes with the highest scores, right? So pretty much they get the most amount of submissions. They have a chance to go on to the playoffs, which is just an individual tournament where you can compete for $20,000. So I think it's cool that, you know, they give those athletes another chance to shine and actually win some money. Yeah,
and talk about the athletes, pretty stacked 205 lineup. We have guys like Ryan Aiken, Elijah Carlton, who's probably one of the greatest PGF athletes of all time. Our guy, Chris Wojcik's on there, Davis Asari. I know I'm missing a bunch. What do you think about those guys?
Yeah, another guy too is Paul Ardilla. Like, it's pretty crazy to me that he's less known. The guy's won trials, I think, like 4 or 5 times, and like I think the last one he had like all subs too. I think he went out in the finals, like pulled guard, got a negative, and then just still subbed Elder Cruz. So yeah, I'm surprised that more people don't know him. But yeah, overall a super stacked tournament. A lot of leg lockers in there. Seeing a lot of leg breaks, unfortunately.
So first couple of days been a lot of leg breaks. We got Davis Asari had a pretty bad break on day 1 versus Ryan Aiken. Did you see that?
Yeah, dude, that was a loud pop. I never get why people like let it break and then like 3 seconds later tap after it breaks. You know, especially when it's like a bad break. Like I feel like that one was kind of like multiple pops.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna let it break that far, you may as well just try and keep going. Or just tap after the first pop. And at least I understand taking pops in competition is something that, you know, I would do personally. But like that was a pretty bad break.
It's pretty bad.
Another one too is Andre. I always mess up saying his last name.
Andre Porforio got Z-locked by Marcin. I don't want to butcher his last name. They call him the Polish Powerhouse. They call him. He had like a pretty gnarly Z-lock with a pretty interesting finish. Did you watch it?
Pushing on the knee, pommeling in. Turn, kicking your foot in. Watch the Z-lock. Turn to your right, turn to your right. Submission is on. It's all right.
No, I actually didn't get to.
So he had like a Z-lock, and then he just grabbed his foot and then just pushed it out. And then the lateral break on the side of the knee was pretty gross.
Dude, yeah. Z-locks are like, that's one submission that if I get put in like a super deep in comp, I'm absolutely tapping. Those are some of the worst breaks that I've honestly seen in the sport from submissions. Yeah, man.
And it goes on quick too. Like it's not a problem, and then suddenly
it goes from 0 to like fully torn ACL. I mean, we saw it here.
We had one. we won't say anything, but we had a bad one here. And then safe to say Andre is probably out for the entire tournament, which sucks for him. But then brought some guys in. I think like Abe got in to come in because of him. He had a pretty decent match with Ryan and stuff. But like we talked about, the athletes, just pretty incredible athletes, and then just pretty gnarly submissions on the first couple of days.
Bradley got injured. I watched that, and I am so confused as to how it happened. It did not look like there was an actual submission attempt at all. Like he had like a knee bar for like half a second, but it didn't look like the leg even got fully extended. So I was like super confused watching that as to what actually happened.
It was weird. PGF did a good job at keeping it kind of secret on the social post. They just showed the entry and then like the limp after, but then Jabroni posted it up.
They let the match keep going, right?
I think they were going to. I have to go back and watch it. I think they were intending to do that, but then I don't think Adam could put weight on it. Because I saw Adam's post and he was like, yeah, I couldn't put weight on it or whatever. It was like weird. So I'll definitely put the video up here so you guys can see it and comment on it and stuff.
Now he goes inverted.
Yeah, he's so comfortable with that inversion, and he's got an entanglement. He might go for the knee bar here. He might try to turn that into a heel hook. Looks like he might have had a Mikey lock. Bradley, go ahead.
No, I was going to say Bradley trying to clear that knee.
He's so good at that too. He rarely leaves his legs deep enough where he can't pull them out.
We'll see if Carlton tries to come up on top position here, if he feels so worth chasing.
I think he's going to stay on that leg. Carlton really hasn't come to the top much the last couple of days. He's been content to play on the bottom.
It looks like that knee is free now.
We're going to get the flag.
There we go. Elijah's saying that Bradley's hurt. He says that he popped his leg, and I mean, looking at Bradley, he is clearly in some pain.
I popped his leg in the first 30 seconds. Can you continue?
Bradley says he can continue, which is
That's a tap.
pretty impressive.
He stopped.
Well, we got some
Carlton saying that he stopped. I mean, the match was never halted. I mean, it's up to the referee's discretion if Bradley's continuing is against his better well-being.
Commission's telling him to run it. Elijah's not going to give this up too easy. Oh, they're going to give him back. Referee position.
He's done.
He's done.
What are you talking about?
To Elijah's credit, I don't think he wants to hurt him any worse than he already has.
But yeah, it's kind of like a freak injury there, and it's unfortunate for Adam, who
Because I saw Jabroni's post, but yeah, it looked like they were continuing the match. I mean, I like Adam and everything, but I don't know. I feel like if someone is injured during the match and they stop,
it's a tap. Yeah,
it's like one thing if they get injured and keep going, and just kind of play it out, even if you're limping back, but like to go out of bounds, stop, and then take a minute and rest and see how it is. That would, I think, be the end of the match.
That should be as a,
like if I was a competitor on the other side and that happened, I would be upset.
I think that's what Jabroni was saying. He was like, hey, like that's a tap. Like you stopped the match. Like that's a tap. So Jabroni was arguing that. So it was a confusing situation. I don't think they was able to continue because he couldn't bear weight. So immediately it was over. But I'd have to go back and check it out. But yeah, it was obviously unfortunate for Adam, who's had a pretty decent year himself as well. But everybody gets caught, man.
Yeah. I'll have to ask Adam exactly what happened because I was very confused watching that.
Guys, you want to look as good as me? Get yourself some merch. We got the Bulls, we got the Street X, we got the Mexican Ground Karate. Get yourself some BT merch, and you could look like this.
The rule set too, for people that don't know, it's 6-minute rounds. And if there's no submission, it's just a draw, and it's no points scored. So it really forces the action.
Yeah, I like how they do it. So they call it a kill when it's a choke, and that's 6 points, which is the highest points you can make. And then a break would be like any joint lock, which is 3 points, and like you mentioned, 0 points for a draw. And they also give you a bonus point for the team if you submit within the first minute, which is. And people are asking like, what's the deal with the points? The team with the highest points at the end of the entire thing gets to split $100,000, so pretty big stakes cash-wise.
Yeah. Thankfully for me and all the other athletes, there's actually starting to be some money in the sport.
Yeah. I thought $100,000 is a lot, man. I remember when I started, the money was in owning a school. Now you could just focus on being a competitor, which is pretty sweet.
Thankfully the sport's starting to grow.
Yeah. And then also what's cool about it is, like you mentioned earlier as well, all the guys who have the most points make it to this playoff round, and then those guys get to go at it for 20,000. So you could leave with some pretty decent cash.
Yeah, especially if you're the winning team and then you go and you win the playoffs. That's well, I guess it depends. How many people per team?
I believe there's 4. I could be wrong, but I believe there's 4 per team.
Okay, 4 per team.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you could go home with $45,000.
Pretty good day. I mean, it is spread out over a week.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty good chunk of change.
Yeah. Another thing too is they have a draft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they get like each team gets a certain amount of like PGF dollars.
Yeah.
And then they bid for the athletes. So that's super interesting. That's something that we've never seen in the sport before.
It's pretty cool and pretty. You gotta like be strategic as a coach getting athletes. Obviously, some athletes worth more than others. I believe last year PJ Barch was the most expensive player, #1 pick. Almost was on the outside looking into the playoffs, ended up making it. This season I should say, it was Paul Ardilla, and so far I think he's ranked 7th. So being that #1 pick comes with a lot of pressure as far as like trying to keep that top spot, but you never really know.
Yes, yeah.
Makes for some interesting matchups too, not stuff that you get to randomly see. Those like yesterday there was like super fights pretty much like on the first match of the day, which is pretty exciting. I believe day 1 it was like Ryan Aiken and Davis Cesario. That's a main event in any card, any promotion.
Yes, yeah. And you're seeing like honestly a lot of big size discrepancies too.
Yeah.
Like Wojcik is not 205 pounds. Asari is not 205 pounds.
Some good matches for sure.
So,
And then that's a good point, because I heard yesterday that Ryan and Abe were the guys who cut the most weight to make 205.
Dude, Ryan is a big boy.
Yeah, he's big.
Yeah, I saw him in person a few times, and yeah, he is huge. Like especially for like 88 when he does trials and stuff. I'm like, I don't know how he makes 88.
Yeah.
Like if you put him and J-Rod next to each other,
they're not the same person.
They do not look like the same weight class.
Yeah, that is crazy. I did forget he did 88. That's a crazy cut. He seems to do big cuts, but does them pretty well where he like recovers pretty fast. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I mean, dude, he walks around pretty lean already, and then to cut that much weight is he must be cutting a lot of water.
That's pretty tough, yeah. And another thing that's pretty dope about PGF too, like you said, we had the draft, which is pretty new to the sport. No one else does it. They have the coaches too, and they're not just like random coaches. It's pretty star-studded.
Yeah, we got Dean Lister, Carlos Machado, Hodger Gracie, and then Pedro
Sauer.
Yeah.
Who would you? I think I know the answer, but out of all those, who would you want to get coached by in a tournament like this?
Oh, Hodger. Yeah, 100%. 100% Hodger.
All the other guys are great, but it's like Hodger's just like so many guys. Yeah,
dude,
it's insane.
It's the GOAT.
Yeah, it's the go. I think I believe Pedro Sauer right now, his team is the one with the lead. He's the guy who has Ryan Aiken and stuff like that. But Hodger's teams, all the teams are no joke. They're all really good. But I'd love to be a part of Hodger's team.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
And I wonder what that's like too, because it's like they're so obviously you draft these guys and you're with them for a short period of time. It's not like Hodger's been training with these guys for an extensive period of time. He drafts them and then they have like a couple of training practices at teams. So I wonder what the coach role does in that scenario. I know during the matches it's probably really easy for him to coach guys through stuff, but like I wonder what that looks like in like practices.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if they're like how much preparation time they actually do with the coaches and stuff like that.
It seems like not much.
Do you know how much time is it just the draft and then the next day they compete? That's how it is.
It seems like that because they all go to the location. This time is in Las Vegas. They do the draft. They have that on YouTube. And then boom, next day it's like day one, or maybe like the weekend, a day or two, and then boom, Monday was day one of the league.
Okay, so. Not too much. Yeah, so coaching is mainly just during the matches and stuff. Yeah.
I don't hear anybody coach much, but Dean Lister. That dude's loud.
Oh yeah.
He's just yelling at people. But that's pretty cool. I like that. And then of course the playoffs is sick, like we talked about. Gives the guys who had the most submissions or the most points at the end of the day.
Yeah. Do you know how many people are?
I believe it's 10.
So it's a 10-person bracket.
For the playoffs,
Okay.
And I believe it's still round robin, where it's like you have a couple matches.
Oh, okay. That
I
makes
know
sense.
the last winner was Andy Varela, and I know he didn't do necessarily the greatest during the season, like during like with the team stuff.
Yeah.
Did enough to scrape by and get into the playoffs, and then he won the playoffs.
And then playoffs are they're EBI rules, right? That's how it was last time.
Yes, because they have to have some sort of finish.
Yeah, I remember the last playoffs was pretty crazy. Jet Thompson almost beat Varela.
Yeah. Was that the final?
I think so. I think that was the final. He I think he got subbed in overtime.
Yeah.
And then had to sub Varela within a certain amount of time.
I just wasn't able to.
And then ended that time with a fully locked rear naked, but didn't get the tap.
Yeah. Jet's a stud. He won one of the B League tournaments we had here a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was like before he was like, now he's winning like a ton of stuff. Yeah. I think like honestly like his like breakout performance was almost like the last PGF. That's kind of what made him a lot more well known.
He's had some good performances at ADCC, but yeah, like you said, PGF. I mean, he had a bunch of 6 submissions. Yeah. I forgot who he submitted. He submitted a lot of high-level people.
Yeah, he had a lot of good Aokis and stuff. We were actually drilling some of the stuff that he was doing here, some of the inversions into the Aokis. And he's got some really interesting stuff that I really haven't seen before.
Yeah. And then let's see. So you're a fucking smart guy. Who do you predict? Who do you predict some of the guys to watch who are in this tournament right now? And then if you had to pick somebody to take home the final prize, who do you think it's going to be and why?
Yeah, so guys to watch. So Ryan Aiken, Jabroni. He also kind of broke out in the last PGF. Got a bunch of good subs. Actually, sub Canuta who beat me.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So it's a big win for him. Yeah. So Ryan Aiken, Jabroni. Obviously, our boy Chris Wojcik. He just had a really good performance at ADCC. He got robbed. He's really the second place. He beat J-Rod. But yeah, I feel like those are like the three top guys. Paul Ardilla as well. Yeah, so I would say those are the 4 top guys to watch. And then for the playoffs, if it's EBI rules again, man, I would say probably Aiken and Wojcik. I think those guys are both dangerous during regulation. That they're good at getting to the legs and getting subs, and they're also really good at overtime. Aiken is very hard to beat. He's again a huge guy for that weight class, super long legs, so hard to escape his back control. But yeah, Wojcik's also very good at escaping.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see Ryan Aiken and Chris Wojcik there at the end. Kind of maybe that'd be like your final match, and then that's like a rematch from when they face each other.
Dude,
at trials.
I think they fought a bunch of times. Yeah. I think Aiken has beaten them every time except for the time at trials, and then this last match at PGF was a draw. Yeah. I could be wrong about that, but I believe that's what happened.
It speaks a lot. Chris has improved a lot since he joined the team, so
dude,
it makes sense.
I mean, man, he really broke out this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, guys, that's pretty much it. PGF is awesome. Free on YouTube during the playoff, so during the main round here, and then on UFC Fight Pass for the finals. So make sure you guys go check that out. Support our boy Brandon McCatherine. He was one of the commentators at CJI. Did a phenomenal job as always. And as always for us, thank you guys for watching, subscribing, all that stuff. Make sure you leave a comment. Let us know your favorite matches of PGF. And if you want to see more videos like this, and of course, support the merch. Nicky Ryan should have worn a shirt today, but I have to carry the team on my back, so. Any last words for you?
J-Rod sucks. Chris Wojcik won. He's silver medalist.